Welcome. This means welcome to obviously Fight Talk episode 64. I am joined by the deliciously, devilishly good-looking Robert Palin.
Are you bringing back that character?
I'm bringing him back.
Everyone loves that.
This is Fedor. Fedor.
Yeah. I think you closed out about 7 shows probably in a row after the Fedor thing with that.
You see, you want to leave people wanting more. And
bring
them back. So welcome to obviously Fight Talk episode 64. So it's Rob and Noel here again. We're missing in action the usual suspects of Carl Crazy Doran. You might see him in a bit though. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. If you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't be on the internet for future videos. And don't forget to like and share this, and get the word out there on whatever social media you use. We won't judge you if it's different things that I don't use because I'm an old man.
Pinterest and all that jazz.
And also talk and comment on topics that we do on any of the videos. I know I was giving out about YouTube commenters, but that was on other videos.
And trolls, not us.
We like interacting. Rob doesn't. Shout out to Fight Store Ireland as well, the Fighter's Choice, the number one. Everything you need under one roof. Everything you need. Check them out. They're fantastic stuff. Every fighter's needs you need. Check them out. They get you at MMAmix.com. They're obviously good, because they're with obviously Fight Talk. So Rob, we've a packed show this week. The format's going to be a little bit different because our usual suspects have lives and they don't just sit at home waiting to record obviously Fight Talk.
Fucking freaks.
So we'll have obviously Fight Talk Quick-Fire news as always. We'll be just getting on with Johnny Jitsu as well. We'll be recapping the weekend action with UFC, Bellator, stuff like that. We will then be joined by Linton Vassell, the Swarm himself, who was obviously fighting Liam McGeary in Bellator London, the big card. Delighted. We're meant to have Linton on, it must be a year ago.
we're meant to have Linton on about, I'd say, 3 times.
Yeah.
And it just a comedy of errors happened. There was an issue with time zones. There was an issue with studio time. There was an issue with equipment in our old studio. Not this studio. Equipment is beautiful. Yeah. But so fingers crossed.
Yeah, so fingers crossed Linton's on. It better be worth waiting for. He better be a good guest for all he messing will be. So looking forward to talking to Linton. There's obviously a big fight coming up as well, as I mentioned there on the Bellator card. We're going to have your Reddir Thread of the week this week. We're bringing it back. So basically the thread is going to be the UFC landscape after Swanson Lobov. What's happening, how's the UFC shaping up, and what's next. We'll also be joined later on by Mr. Daniel Movahedi. If he gets back from the football pitch, he has the kids out of football. Father of the Year, Daniel Movahedi, the gentleman. But Rob, where not to start, as we start every week, which are obviously Fight Talk Quick-Fire news. So recently retired UFC fighter Anthony Johnson took to his Facebook page after UFC Nashville and said, "Watched some of the fights last night and I tell you this, know when to hang them up. If you're already being knocked out in about your last 5-6 fights, isn't that your body saying, I've had enough? I get that it's a match out, I have bigger balls than you sport, but man, some of these dudes are going to forget their name by the time they're 45. Good luck with that." What do we think of that comment from the recently Anthony Rumble Johnson?
Like I'm assuming he's talking about Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
You'd have to imagine so. I'll be in agreement with him on some part. I do think that a lot of fighters, and I said it a couple of times on the show, I don't like telling fighters, not that they're going to listen to me, but I don't like saying to fighters, oh, they should retire, they shouldn't retire, because that's their job. We look at it as, I think we're kind of selfish as fans and people who cover the sport, because we're not going in there and doing it, and we make our opinions known and we say, oh, he should retire, he's getting knocked out too much or whatever, when this is their job. This is how they make money. Like, they probably don't have anything else after. Like Diego Sanchez, is he going to be a coach? I'm not sure. Does he do coaching? I'm not sure. So I don't like telling fighters to fight, but when I don't want to watch a fighter fight again, that's when I'll say it. And I don't really want to watch Diego Sanchez fight again. He got hurt badly by He got folded.
Yeah, it's starting to turn into a trend as well. Like, we are presuming he means Diego Sanchez. Like Jake Ellenborg could be another one.
It could be Jake Ellenborg, yeah.
But yeah, look, maybe, you don't want to see fighters, go down. But as you said, Rob, that's their living, that's their job.
Exactly.
It'd be like someone telling a plumber, look, listen, Mick, you know what I mean? You got to give it up, mate. We'll have to feed the kids, like.
Exactly.
So, in a way,
a little bit different, but
much respect. Like, in fairness to Anthony Rumble Johnson has been on big cards now as well. He'll be getting a big slice of the pie at pay-per-view and stuff like that as well. Now, I'm sure he'll tell you it's not. He's obviously retired because he's going into something new. So his wedge of the pie could be a little bit bigger than the likes of your Diego Sanchez, who's been in the UFC since like forever.
Yeah,
he was in the UFC before it was even the UFC. If you know what I mean, he's there that long, but. Financially, has he been rewarded? Alaquinta obviously talked about that as well. So, maybe he doesn't have the option to retire.
Maybe,
and like coaching, I don't know, with Diego Sanchez.
And he probably just loves it too.
Coach,
he doesn't seem like a coach.
No.
But that's just, you know, outside looking in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope he made a lot of money because he deserved it. Yeah. 100% deserved it.
But yeah, like, I get him. Like,
could be talking about Ellenberger as well.
Yeah, he could be. Fair. Go ahead, you're up.
Up next, Japanese MMA at its finest as a 24-year-old woman. 2-3 amateur record is due to take on a 12-year-old girl. That was 12 now. 1-2. Making her MMA debut. Well, I hope so. The weird thing is, Yamazaki, who is the adult here, will have a 9-pound weight advantage also. Is this too much even for Japanese MMA? And that's the picture we found online of the she looked very like she's 12. She looks very, very young.
Like Japanese MMA. This is too far.
Bell.
Like, my boy is 12, right? I wouldn't let my 12-year-old son fight a 24-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you look at it that way. Like, this is insane. Is it legal? Is it not child abuse?
Yeah.
How can you let a 12-year-old girl, I can't believe I'm saying this on a fucking MMA podcast.
Yeah.
How can you let a 12-year-old girl get in a cage with a 24-year-old woman? Just the sheer physicality is going to be stronger because she's a woman against a child.
It's insane. It's ridiculous. I don't want to see it. I'm not going to watch it. This isn't the first time it happened. I did look up because I was wondering, this is very strange. This had to have happened before. It can't be a one-time thing. A girl called Karen Date, which she's now 13 and she's 2-0 in MMA. And she won her first fight when she was 12. And in her second fight, she beat a 29-year-old by TKO.
TKO?
TKO. I didn't watch the fight, but yeah, it's just mad. The second fight was in the same promotion, which is, I can't remember the name of it. It's like
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We won't give it any airtime. But yeah, it's just weird. It's so strange. I'm guessing your one is like the canest of cans, at least. It doesn't make it any better. It's a 12-year-old girl. You know, your brain isn't fully developed until you're about 25. I think it's like 23 when you're so even when someone's 19, 18, you kind of get a little bit squeamish when they get knocked out. You know, imagine if she got hurt. The only good thing is it's an amateur bout. You have to wear headgear. There's no strikes on the ground. But still, like, to be fair,
don't get me wrong. Like, I you know, there's kids competitions. Yeah, a 12-year-old against 12-year-old is fine. I understand that.
And yeah, with limitations, and hopefully those limitations are there as well.
I've trained in gyms where, you know, the kids
beat up
the class
12-year-olds
and, you know, you beat the shit out of the kids to make yourself feel good.
Exactly,
but, like, shut up, bang. But no, you know, obviously when you're sparring with like a child, you don't spar, you move. You know what I mean? You don't. But this has got a fight, like. Fucked up.
It's insane.
Robert Whittaker wants a shot at the UFC gold and has said, I'm not after Bisping, I'm after that belt. If Bisping gives it to his neighbour, I'll fight his neighbour. I want that belt and I think I've earned the right to get that belt. Has he done enough to warrant a title shot?
I think so. The only problem is there's a couple of other guys there like Yoel Romero. He did knock off Jacare, so that's Jacare gone. Probably Yoel Romero maybe deserves it over him. But yeah, like if he doesn't fight again, he wants to wait. I think title shot. I think like Jacare was the guy apart from Romero, and he's beat some other good guys as well. And he's looked really impressive. Australian. There hasn't been a lot of successful Australians in the UFC, so he has that kind of market behind him.
That's why I was.
And he's young.
My thing about it would be, you know, the UFC have gone to Australia on a few occasions and they haven't. If you brought Bisping Whittaker to Australia as the title fight, it'd be huge. It'd be like
it would be,
an Aussie fighting for the title in his homeland. It'd be huge. And Bisping, let's be honest, he wouldn't mind. He's, you know what I mean, big English contingency down in Australia as well.
Exactly.
So that could be a win-win for the UFC as a promotion. I know it's something you always talk about as well. I know you were having a bit of back and forth online with somebody about here in Ireland not having the venue size to hold such events and stuff. And you were saying, well, you know, it's not pay-per-view marketable as well. What way does that work in Australia? Just my time zones here are leaving
Australia, I believe they have the stadiums, but they obviously have a completely different. No, they have a completely different time zone. But what they do is they do the early shows, or I think it's an early show. I think they like run pay-per-views at like 11 o'clock in the morning or something.
In Australia, it's good time for the States.
So they can do it. It's a little bit better, I think, than the likes of the UK and over here. Like if we did have the stadium, you could do the pay-per-view, run it late, but you know, still that's like what, 3 a.m. you're going to be running the show. I think it's a bit more manageable when you have 11 a.m. in the morning. People be more inclined to get up and go. They done it with Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm. That was Australia. That was a pay-per-view and it done big numbers. So Yeah,
it
is there.
I think it'd be big. And in fairness, what is he? He's 6-0. He's just 5 wins.
Two things as well. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
Like people, I think people don't realize how good. Yeah, I don't think people realize how good he is. He's very, very good. Not just striking either. Second thing, he's young, and that division is aging, big time. Up next, somewhere in the world, Carl Doran is smiling. The Missing in Action host on OFT got his wish this past week, as in FCC 18, a bout between Ant Davis and Thomas, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, was called off as Davis headbutts his opponent on the mat. Oddly, the bout was down on Tapology as a no contest due to accidental head clash. Let's have a look and see how unaccidental it was. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut
and we're going to show it.
We're going to show it.
And Davies complaining to the referee, but and that was a headbutt, clear as day by Ant Davies. Unbelievable. Ant Davies needs to take a breath here.
Yeah, so there you have it. Accidental, Rob.
Yeah, I think when you showed it to me originally, I was like, okay, let's see this, and I turned it on, and the first headbutt comes from the bottom, and like it's clearly a headbutt, and I wouldn't
pulls into it.
I wouldn't try to argue it, but I can see where somebody was like, oh no, he was just moving. But then he stands up and he actually like starts trying to loaf him. It was like it looked like a guy fighting on the street getting held back by his mate. Yeah, getting held back by his mate.
That video of your man in the chipper headbutting your man multiple times in the face. But this Carl Doran, this is why we're saying somewhere in the world Carl Doran, because when we always talk about the revision of rules, Carl always says, "Why don't they allow fucking headbutts? Like we want headbutts back." So it was insane, but it's insane. It is down. Now, the video clip I seen of it, you never got to see the actual announcing of the fight. The Tapology are sharp and they're normally on these things pretty hot. It's not quick. Like, so I'd imagine if they have it down as an accidental headbutt, that it's a no contest. How, when he does clearly headbutt him, as you're just seeing, for people who are on audio, I apologise, check it out. I don't know, we'll stick the link up or something. Yeah. But he headbutts him and then stands up and then headbutts him again. So you lose. Like when he stands up and then goes rage and bull on him and throws the headbutt and then tries to land punches and the referees push him off and he's still trying to go on him, you sort of lose the whole accidental headbutt thing there. But it's not something you want to see in the sport. This is like, we're obviously trying to push this sport and tell everyone, it's not full of hooligans and
our news isn't great, is it?
No.
You have headbutts, you have 12-year-old girls. This isn't the norm in MMA.
No, it's not. But it's like, in fairness, unfortunately, sometimes in the heat of the moment, fighters will lose the cool. This is an example of it. It's in the UK. It was FCC 18, I believe. Yeah. So it's crazy shit that's happened, and I'm sure he'll be sanctioned. I wouldn't imagine there'll be too many promoters that will be rushing to have him on their cards. No. Mind you, as I said, rushing on their cards. He's probably going to be on the next Russian card. But it was a bit of a weird one. But I'd say the blood just rushed to his head. Excuse the pun again with headbutts. But it was rushing out of his head, I believe. I've seen lads, in the heat of the moment, soccer kick and stuff, and I personally know fighters who soccer kicked somebody, and it was just heat of the moment. He was just wrapped up in it. One of the nicest guys in the world, Dario. He was in a fight, Dario Singagoga, and he threw a kick in the heat of the moment in the battle, and the guy was down. But it's a bit different. Soccer kick is a little different. Dario is very different situation to what this guy's. Isn't there something
like primal about headbutts? It's something weird. It's something like
it's a weird thing to do, because you're gonna fucking hurt yourself.
Yeah, like a man that will headbutt you is, Bas Rutten always talks about headbutts.
Yeah, a headbutt to the nose is no joke.
Can be fatal.
Yeah, but it was weird, and it's not something you obviously want to see in the sport. So yeah, let's get rid of it. Mm-hmm. You obviously never set the timer on that one, Rob.
No, go.
So Frank Mir has been handed a 2-year USADA suspension after testing positive from a sample back in March of 2016 for the drug dihydroxytestosterone, or DHCMT, which falls under the anabolic agent category, in a sample collected on March 20th, 2016. He's also had a test from February that had originally been passed as clear, reversed to positive. So Mir has denied ever taking anything knowingly that would violate USADA's guidelines. This was when he fought Mark Hunt, wasn't it? So he's been handed a 2-year ban, but it takes into consideration the time served now. Yeah. So he would be he would be back in March of next year. But Frank Mir has spoke openly about he wants to get out of his. There he is. There, look at him.
He's looking down at us.
Yeah, I love Frank Mir. Yeah. But no, he spoke openly about he wants to get out of his UFC contract. He'd like to go and try some kickboxing and other things like that as well. I'm sure, like he's heavily involved with ACB on the commentary booth. So I'm sure Russian MMA. Hey, jump in there, Frank. But for me, the one here is weird is that the one that was passed in February has now been reversed. That's weird.
Yeah, they retested it. I'm not sure. I didn't get the ins and outs on it because I only seen this morning. Didn't have time.
There's a long statement. Frank Mir released a long statement both on his Facebook and MMA Fighting cover, and he said that he was going to be talking about it on Phone Booth podcast.
Okay.
I think that's recording as well today. So listen to it after you listen to it.
We'll check that out. But it's unfortunate in a way. Like obviously, if he didn't mean to take it, if it was in a supplement or something, which can happen.
Kangaroo meat was the Australian.
Yeah, that was the thing. But that could be the end of his career. Like that's 39.
UFC career. I still reckon Mir has a fight or two in him that he wants.
He probably does have a fight or two in him. But like I think that puts the nail in the coffin of his. Not like he'll probably fight again somewhere else, but you know what I mean. Like his UFC career is his MMA career for the most part. He might get a couple of fights outside the UFC. He might go to Bellator. You never know. Like, who knows? But
this is something like the very first topic with Anthony Rumble Johnson. Mir has been put out a few times now as well. Of like he's getting the twilight. That candlelight is nearly out as well, and I'm a big Frank, as I always talk about on the show. I love Frank Mir. He's one of the originals that I really got into when I was younger watching it. And it's sad to see, I know I'm going over time, sad to see somebody like this getting tainted with their whole career gets tainted by this. And
it does, yeah.
That they're reversing one. That's what's really weird.
Yeah, they retest. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we'll find out as well when he gives out a statement, and I'll read a little bit more into it. But they obviously retested the sample,
But Frank Mir, you're my boy. I love you, Blue. You're up next. Go on. Bahama.
I don't have Bahama.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. So Bahama return to Dublin's 3 Arena for Bahama 30, and we have a fight announced in Magic Miles Prize, taking on the returning Honey Badger, Phil Mulpeter, with plenty more announcements due to this great start. It's a great start to this anticipated card, basically. And another Bahama news, this is a weird one. They've signed Aaron, I want to say Chalmers.
I think it's Chalmers, yeah.
To a multi-fight deal. So if you don't know who that is, and I'm struggling with his name, it's because I'm old and I don't watch Geordie Shore. So he's known from starring in Geordie Shore. So two things. What do you think about Magic Miles Prize taking on the Honey Badger Phil Mulpeter? Mulpeter's been away a while. He's one of the original SPG units as well.
Always was on the Cage Warriors cards.
Never in a boring fight.
I like the fight quite a bit. I think it's a really well matched fight. I'm looking forward to see what Mulpeter looks like. I think Miles will win as the favourite. But I'm really interested to see what he looks like coming into it because he's very experienced, good grappler. Could be some great scrambles in that fight. The
last time I seen Mulpeter fight was in CRC.
Yeah.
He had a grappling match with Euro coach.
Hugo Borum.
Borum. He got tapped to a heel.
Yeah, Hugo's a beast. Yeah, Hugo's a beast. So no shame.
Yeah, so great to see Mulpeter coming back. Always in a great fight. Miles Price was originally scheduled not too long ago to fight Rhys McKee for the title. Yeah. So this is a big fight and a big name in Mulpeter as well. And it's Team Rhino against SPG as well. So two well-established Dublin clubs. I expect big support for both fighters as well. But what do you think of the Aaron Chalmers?
Yeah, I to be honest, I have no qualms with it, as you said. Do you want me to change that?
Yeah, come on, keep it up.
There you go. Yeah, I've no problem with it. Like he's 0-0. I know he signed or he didn't sign, but he was supposed to sign the fight in a previous. Don't have a picture of that one. He's supposed to sign for a previous card. I can't remember the name of the card. And then he spoke with Bam about fighting as well last year because I'm pretty sure it was the last Dublin show.
Yeah.
Not the very last one, but the original.
He was there. Yeah, I was talking.
And apparently he has a
who the guy was.
Yeah, apparently he has a Muay Thai background. He's been training. He has videos up. We don't know what he's going to look like. But the good thing about him going to BAMA and not like the UFC or something crazy like that, if BAMA can afford to match him up with somebody who's 0-0, or someone
like
just,
him,
exactly, someone that it could be a competitive fight, and he's not going to get completely blown out of the water.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to overrun, I don't care. It's a great idea for both Bama and him. It's going to put the spotlight on him. It's going to bring you as eyes. The amount of people that watch that show, Geordie Shore, is beyond me. Like.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, he's so well known. Like, I was talking to the guy at Bama. I didn't have a clue who he was. And literally I'd say, who's that? And like, oh my God, you don't know who that is. Sorry, I don't watch Geordie Shore. Like, how would I know?
Yeah. My girlfriend watches it, and I said, oh, your man from Geordie Shore just signed with Bama. And she's like, oh, your man Aaron.
There you go.
So,
but that's what I mean. You're going to have people attention, eyes on it, and look, fair fucking play to him.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Like, he's coming from it, you know what I mean? Yeah, fair fucking play to him. And
yeah, well done.
It'll be interesting to see how he gets matched and what happens with the match. So yeah, I think you're right though. I think they will be smart in their matching of it. So let's move on to your weekend recap. We're going to look at Bellator 178. Just pick out the big winners, I suppose. So this was Strauss versus Pitbull 4, Rob.
Yeah, 4. You don't get many of those, do you?
No.
Especially when it's top contenders. That's the title fight, and the others have been title
fights. They've been loaning one another the belt for a while. So Daniel Strauss came in as the featherweight champion. But he got defeated in the first round, I believe it was. I was watching the fight by rear naked choke. And Pitbull just looked, when it got to the ground, Strauss sort of fought the hands briefly, but Pitbull just sunk it in and wrapped it up. Got the choke, and Strauss tapped very quick. I was surprised with the quick tap, but I suppose when it's in, it's fucking in, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. If you have to tap, if the choke is tight.
Exactly. Well,
we'll talk about that a little bit later as well with a Von Flu.
Yeah, I was working this weekend with Mr. Lar Byrne. We were in Athlone, and there's a video on Facebook of Lar getting choked out by Richie Smullen. And that's what Lar was saying. I didn't realise how fucking tight these chokes are. Like, he didn't know, you know.
Insane,
and that's the thing. Like, when Pitbull got it sunk in, He made very light work of it. And it was a big performance. And the belt goes. And I think that's the end of it now, because he's 3-1 up in the...
Yeah. And plus,
you can't even call it a trilogy. What do you call it?
I can't remember the name.
Quadruplet?
No, it's the name. It's
Quadruple.
Not that. No, it's not.
Quarter.
Yeah.
Pounder.
We'll go with that.
So
Pitbull has a fucking squeeze on him too, so I wouldn't be...
his family's cage side as well. The baby was put into the ring. Beautiful. Then we had the female battle of two hot prospects. Both of them were seeing McFarlane against Jessica Middleton, and this, unfortunately, in a way, it was a very undermatched fight. McFarlane got it to the ground and
way too experienced and way too good. Yeah,
she sort of had to. It was a beautiful adjustment. She got the arm bar. It looked like she had it sunk in. She had it stretched out and was on there like Dan Hardy, GSP. You were like, holy fuck, Middleton has some flexibility. And then she switched. She pulled the arm across and put it under her right armpit and locked it down. And that finished the fight. And McFarlane, she made it look easy, so she climbs to 6-0. But the big talking point for me and the fight, I'll be perfectly honest with you, that I was really tuning in to watch this week on Bellator was AJ McKee taking on Mazada. And the reason it was more so, it was 12-1. Which is a big fucking scalp, you know. Obviously, we all know now with the James Gallagher McKee back and forth. And as I posted on the obviously Fight Talk page, a stunning head kick by AJ McKee. Over to you, Mr. Gallagher, to make sure you two hot prospects meet. So obviously James is fighting in New York City against Machida. That's in what, June, July? Can't remember off the top of my head. Apologies.
June,
but this, and actually McKee said after it, he's not thinking about Gallagher. That's a step back. Switch is just another. It's another piece of wood to the fire, like, and burn it, you know.
Yeah, like it was an amazing knockout. Like, he made a complete statement in the fight, but I think everyone is looking forward to that Gallagher fight because they've had that back and forth. It's an interesting kind of situation for the Bellator matchmakers because do they put the two hot prospects together and kill one off?
I think let it build for a while.
Or do you...
But then you have the risk, don't you? If one of them loses, it falls away.
You know, that's why matchmakers make their money, because they can match the fights when the fights are supposed to happen, when they make sense. So who knows what's going to happen. If Gallagher wins, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd done the fight. But it also wouldn't surprise me if he didn't want to kill off one of those prospects, because both are huge prospects.
But to McKee, there was no setup or anything to it.
No.
Flicked it up.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Cold,
And he's a good grappler too.
Yeah. Like it's a tough fight for Gallagher if it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just hope that, and I'm sure James strikes me anytime I've spoke to James, we had him on the show previously, he's unbelievably focused for such a young man. His determination and professionalism is incredible for such a young man.
Yeah, and for what he done,
so I don't think
at
he's
such a
going
young
to look
age
past
as well. Yeah,
Machida
Yeah.
at this time. You know.
Oh no, you won't. And Machida is a insanely good striker. He's an insanely good fighter. He doesn't have a great record. He hasn't fought that many times.
Very inactive. Yeah,
he's been very inactive, but that doesn't make him any less of a fighter. He's a really good fighter, and it's a big test. I think it's a decent step up for James Gallagher. So I wouldn't be expecting to look over that at all. Plus, it's a big fight, big platform for him. So he wants to perform as well. Yeah. So I wouldn't have any doubt that he'll look ahead of him as well.
But Bellator seems to be on nearly every bloody weekend at this stage.
Yeah,
they're putting together, and then it was fair enough. The roster can be thin in some ways, but like that McKee fight was great, and again, it's a nice
good main event too.
Yeah. And I'm raging now as well because the previous week Brian Pikeman Moore won, right, and I was there going, oh, it's nowhere to be streamed, and I have the old dodgy box, and there's a channel OSN on it, OSN Sport 1, and they're showing Bellator. I'm like, fuck, was that on last week?
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it was Bellator. The big notable one there from the Irish scene, obviously with James, is the McKee fight, and McKee done what he has to do. So as we said, the ball is now in Gallagher's court to not smash it back over the net, I suppose, and see will the prospects happen. The other big fights over the weekend, obviously, was UFC Nashville. So we're gonna go do it there. The big winners, like when you look at. You look at the main card up from the Mike Perry Ellenberger right up to the Artem Lobov fight. There was great fights.
Yeah, man, there was some really, really good fights in this card. I was actually quite surprised how good the card turned out. Even the prelims, there were some good ones in there as well. I'm sure we'll talk about them. But I think we'll just start from the top and we can go down to the fights that really kind of interested us.
Yeah.
The main event. I'm not sure what you think about the main event. I thought it was a really, really good fight. I thought Artem done really well in the first round. I thought he was quite competitive. I thought he even won the first round. There was one judge who gave it all 5 rounds to Cub. I thought Artem won the first round. He uses kicks very well. But the problem was once Cub started adjusting to his style, and when Artem was throwing the kicks, he was countering over the top. And that basically cut him out. You could see, like, at the end of the fight, in the last round, the commentators was, why is Artem not throwing the kicks? And you could see every time he threw a kick, he was getting countered. So I thought it was quite a good fight. Cub Swanson looked good. I'm sure, like, it was one of them fights where maybe some people will look at Cub and say he should have finished that fight. That should be a fight that he finishes. So it's a bit of a step back. But I don't think so. I think it was a good performance overall from him. And Artem's stock goes up. You know, you go to a decision against Cub Swanson and you get hit that many times, that hard. There was a great combination that Cub caught him with a couple of times where it was like a right hand, a right straight, left hook, pivoted out, and then the left kick. And Artem just took it. And it was he displayed some chin.
That was what I noticed. A lot of the internet was sort of saying was, you know, oh, Swanson's fighting a non-ranked fighter and he couldn't finish him. Artem Lobov, the holy shit, like, there's no, like, I'll give you my opinion on the fight, but there's no denying his heart.
Yeah.
Jesus, if he could sell chin, he would be the richest man in the world.
Chin salesman.
Because there'd be a lot of people queuing to buy it. He took some serious shots. I think a lot of people, including me, thought that Cub Swanson is a step. I said it last week on the show that, you know, Artem would be here and Cub is a couple of things above him. I think the fight showed that.
Yeah.
It did show it. Like, Swanson, I would give the first round to Lobov, but I honestly think, like, Artem is quite a peculiar striker. He's
a very peculiar striker,
the most technical looking striker in the world that you'll see. He's a little unorthodox, and I think Swanson for the first round was figuring that out. And then Swanson loosened up a bit. Artem landed some big shots on Swanson, but they never looked like they were really hurt him.
Yeah.
While Cub landed some big shots at Artem, and you thought, here we go, this is the start of it. But the cornering of both fighters was very good. Owen Roddy kept saying to Artem, you have to be on the front foot.
Aside from the blowing your nose,
blow your nose,
amazing.
yeah.
Do you want to blow your nose?
Blow your nose. I'm convinced Owen Roddy is sponsored by Kleenex.
Yeah.
Because every time he went in, Artem, do you want to blow your nose?
he was like a mother with
just
his
to get
child.
just to get that sponsorship out.
Yeah.
So anyway, what you need to do is you need them down. But the cornering advice by Owen Roddy, apart from clean your nose, was perfect.
Yeah.
Try, be first, act first, get him on the back foot was working. But then to coincide, the cornering on the other side was great. Take it easy, calm down, deep breaths. You're winning the fight. You know what I mean? Go your pattern. Says you can see he's taking shots. He can take shots, rein in the power to about 70%, and do accumulation of damage. And he did. You could see there was no denying the shots landing. You could see Artem's face was lit up. There was no doubt in any mind. Like, people were saying, "Oh, that was a really close fight." No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a close.
It wasn't a close fight. Cub Swanson won 4 out of 5 rounds for me.
Yeah.
But Artem, his stock 100% went up. People look at records and they see 14 and 13 for Artem now that he's at, and they read that. Like, he has great heart. He's
limited, and I don't think he would even disagree with that. He's limited on what he does.
The little knee tap takedowns.
The takedowns were lovely. Cub Swanson's takedown on the 5th was lovely. The judo throw. There was some really good techniques, I thought, in the fight. I thought it was a really good fight.
But you got to give it, as much as we're saying fair play to Artem, fair play to Cub Swanson taking that fight, because
100%.
He was expected to win that fight. Like, as in, you win that, and people are saying, why didn't you finish it? Even he was doing a Fox interview after, and they were like, are you a bit, worried that you didn't finish the fight?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's very different. Like, fighting is very different to, like, let's say, golf, for example. Like, if you're ranked 400 in golf and you're fighting the number 4, or you're playing against you're in a 2-ball against the number 4 guy in the world, there's a big difference, because that comes 100% skill and ability, and the actual fighting is still fighting.
Yeah.
Like, Artem can hit. He landed some good shots on Cub. Cub said he wanted to get hit hard and smile at him, go, that done nothing to me.
Yeah.
But Artem earned Cub's respect.
Yeah, and you could see it at the end of the fight.
But you could really see that as well during the fight.
Yeah.
That Cub didn't go wild and start throwing all these weird techniques, and like, he did throw some, but he didn't let loose and put himself at risk, because he had so much respect for Artem. So in that way, it was a big win for Artem Lobov. I don't think it was a close fight.
No.
Cub won the fight hands down. The rounds he won them really, really well. But Artem certainly can look at that now, and he should get a big fight next. Like, he should get somebody in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because he proved he's in there. And people, the fighters in the division, will look at it and go, well, fuck, if I beat Artem,
and
you know what I mean?
And you learn a lot from that as well, I think.
Yeah.
If you look at Artem, the way he strikes, and you could see it throughout the fight. In the first round, he was great defensively. He was fine, because he had his full tank of gas, and he could get outside of the strikes. Usually what he does, he doesn't really have like a defensive game where he puts his hands up, as we know. He uses head movement. So once that head movement goes and start going later in the rounds,
he said that though. He addressed that himself in his post interview. He was saying, this is backstage, not in the cage. He was saying he was tired after the takedown. Takedown sucked a lot of gas out of him, and he couldn't get. He could feel it. But then he said he felt Cub slow down as well. I thought, look, it was a weird main event. It was a weird matchup. I, being perfectly honest, thought Artem was going to get finished by Cub. I thought Cub was going to do it. Yeah, so he showed great determination, and showed that he's a really good mixed martial artist.
Yeah,
and he can hang. That's the number 4 guy in the world.
Yeah. And he definitely got Cub's respect. I thought it was, really liked it.
So all this shy talk of it's the Conor push, if your mate is the big guy in a job, he's going to give you a bit of push as well. So that might have helped him get there, but he got there, but he showed he belonged there on Saturday night.
The co-main event was one that has been, everyone's been talking about. The returning ally of Quinta defeated Diego Sanchez by vicious knockout. What did you think of that fight?
I was starting nodding off watching. Alaquinta, man, is phenomenal. He's
insanely good.
I'm a big fan, not just because it's Alaquinta, because it's Matt Serra, Ray Longo, all the guys in the guard, Sterling there as well. But he just, for a guy, it was 2 years. We were saying last week it was a year. It was 2 years out. Ring rust, no.
Nothing
Where
there.
was that?
Yeah, nothing there. Like, I think ring rust does exist, but
it does,
he didn't show any of it. It was
but the finish.
It was.
He knocked him out twice.
Yeah, and the insane thing is, like, Aloy Quinta has really good grappling, and that's some of his better part of his game. But his hands, man, his hands are ridiculous.
One thing if you live in that area and he's selling you a house, don't haggle with him.
Yeah.
Because that man can bang, bro.
Yeah, it was beautiful as well. He landed the same shot. He wobbled him first with the same shot. Diego was about to go out, and he composed himself. He came back, and you could see he whiffed on the same shot one more time. Yeah. But you could see when he fainted, Diego's hands came down. He threw the shot again, just missed, and that you were like, yeah, one more. He's gonna do it one more time, and that's what happened. And then he folded him, and it was a beautiful performance. His post-fight interview was very entertaining.
We're on Fox. Yeah,
it's very entertaining. And I hope he does stay with the UFC, and I hope he gets paid, because you don't lose a guy like Aloy Quinta who has wins over Jorge Masvidal.
I know we haven't gone down to the whole card, right? But it's just as of should he have got a bonus?
Absolutely should have got a bonus. If he didn't get a bonus, I think it's not. Maybe you could argue there was some better performances on the card. Maybe. I don't think so. I think that was one of the better performances on the card, 100%. But at least give him a bonus, like those discretionary bonuses he used to give. I know they're probably not going to give them out anymore with the lack of Zuffa, I suppose. But 100% give him a bonus. Give that man a bonus. Probably his post-fight speech and his post-fight interview probably didn't help.
Twitter as well didn't help. We'll talk
Twitter
about that a little bit more with Johnny. Alvin St. Peru ruined my predictions.
Yeah, I went 6-0. I went
5-1. So we actually really, in comparison to the week previous, if you watch our picks this week, jeez, the lads know their stuff. What?
Yeah.
Alvin St. Peru got the choke, the Von Flue choke. Lost the first round. He looked awkward in the first round. He looked like
he always looks awkward.
But how I was explaining it last week, he looks lazy. He looks lazy. He does look lazy. But Dilima was landing nice kicks. But I was there going, he's gone to the kick. He's gone to the well too many times with the kick here. St. Peru will catch this and put him down. That's what happened. Got him up against cage. And as Rob said, if you get caught by a Von Flue choke, you shouldn't be
in the UFC. I did say that. So my opinion is, if you fight a guy who has that Von Flue choke in his arsenal, you know he does because he's done it before.
Don't hold on to the guillotine.
You shouldn't get caught in that position. You just shouldn't. It's not a, like, I think even when you're looking at jiu-jitsu guys, and even if you're fighting a really good guy, even that like blue belt, a lot of them know, like, just don't throw your arm over. It's a silly thing to do. But yeah, like, I don't blame him from tapping, because I'm sure that's 200, 200, probably 215 plus man.
And Liam didn't make weight again.
Yeah, that's it. He's gone. He's gone. But that's a 200 plus man, 200 and probably 10-pound man, maybe 220-pound man. On your throat, pushing down. So I don't blame him for tapping, because that's a very painful submission, and it is effective. It's just getting into that position. You shouldn't find yourself in that position at that level. I probably would.
Novice error for somebody at that level.
Exactly. For at that level, when you're talking about the UFC, which they promote themselves as the biggest, best organization in the world, biggest MMA fighting organization in the world, and you have guys who get caught in positions that you shouldn't get caught in, and I know it can happen, but it's just
essentially it's the building site equivalent of sending the apprentice for the skirting ladder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one.
John Dodson, Eddie Wyland. Why do people boo John Dodson?
Because it wasn't really an entertaining fight, unfortunately. I enjoyed.
They always boo him though.
They always boo him. Yeah, I don't know what it is. The problem with this fight, I thought, and the reason why it wasn't as entertaining as people probably would have hoped it would have been, is because they both got into that counter-striking stance.
Well, Dodson is a counter-striker.
And so was Eddie Wyland for the most part. And Wyland wouldn't come forward. And there was a couple of moments where John Dodson, you could hear
him down.
You could hear Brian Stanton, this is what he needs to do, this is what he needs to do. But unfortunately for the, I suppose, wider entertainment for everybody else, Dodson was just winning the fight, counter-striking. He just was. So he wasn't going to risk it. I found
footwork one I thought, as we said last week.
Footwork he
just so quick, like
I believe,
and you can see, because I was saying what I thought happened. How I broke it down was, I thought footwork would do it. Wyman would get incredibly frustrated and just start chasing him and get caught. He was getting frustrated because even in between the first round, he's so fast.
Guy is so quick.
I can't touch him. He's too quick.
Yeah, and it was a good performance. It's just unfortunately for Dodson, it's not the performance that puts him up there to contend for the title.
No,
it just isn't.
That's division stacked anyway.
So 25. Yeah, I liked the performance. The fight wasn't that entertaining.
Fight of the night for me was next. Lower in the card. Stevie Ray, of course, was with us last week. Took on Joe Lozon. He didn't just take him on, he beat him. What an opening first round. And what an opening first round experience.
So first, before we speak about the actual fight, how did you score it?
Do you mean did I give it a 10-8 first round? See, the new rules aren't adopted in Nashville.
Still. I do. 100% 10-8.
10-8, it was a 10-8.
And 10-8 in the last round.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stevie Ray won that's the way I scored it.
I didn't see the scorecards.
Interestingly, no, the scorecards, there was literally every single scorecard you could think of. You had the 1-10-8 for either side. You had the 2 10-8s, and then you had, I think, no 10-8s. It was weird scorecards.
Stevie Ray, Joe Lozon, first round. Holy shit, Joe Lozon looked like primetime Joe Lozon.
Yeah, he looked great.
He's phenomenal on the ground, moving position, ground and pound was unbelievable, and he was sort of like opening up, coming over his absolutely. I was amazed that Stevie Ray got out of that first round. But Lozon said it himself. He went for it. He thought, there's the finish, and he blew his load trying to get the finish, and he could see it like how. It's weird if you were watching this fight. And you seen them get up off the ground, and then you seen the two guys come out for the second round. You'd swear Stevie Ray had just beat the brakes off Joe Lozon, because Ray came out looking fresh, and Lozon he looked like somebody who ran like a marathon or something, and his legs were heavy on him, and he couldn't get them moving. And Stevie Ray took full advantage of that. Went to the kicking. He was told in the corner went to the boxing. Was told in the corner not to kick. Do not kick anymore. Let's make this a boxing fight. That's what he done, and he lit Lozon up, and he looked phenomenal. There's that phenomenal word I think all the time.
Yeah.
But unbelievable win for Stevie Ray, but an unbelievable. So that's Ross Pearson, Joe Lozon. We were saying it there. Who were we talking about? Where we were saying they went on the exact same path. So when Stevie was on the show, he said beat Joe Lozon.
Yeah.
Headline UFC Glasgow. Talk cheddar with the UFC. So step one complete, and you'd imagine he'd be very high up on Scotland. He has to headline, I'd imagine.
Good point as well about Stevie Ray, that first round. That's some great experience. His first fight in the States, making that flight over, cutting weight over there, and getting beat up pretty badly for the first round, coming back and winning the second and winning the third round big, and he needed it. Like, you could hear his coaches, he said that's probably a 10-8 in the first. You need to go out there, you need to take this round at least, you need to put it on him, and he did. And I thought it was a brilliant performance, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Stevie Ray after that one, because Joe Lozon is a tough guy to beat, and he's a tough guy to put a beat down on, especially after that first round. That shows Braveheart, that shows his heart. It really does.
100%.
Excellent performance.
Beautiful.
Jesus.
The guy nobody likes, but you gotta love, Mike Perry, Jake Ellenberger. This fight, first round, went the way I thought Ellenberger had to go about winning it. He was staying either out of range, landing his shots, getting in, and he got the takedowns. He was looking good, Ellenberg, but that was always there for Perry. He lands the bit. I think it was a left hook to start today. A bit of a scramble. They got into a clinch. On the clinch, you could see him holding the wrist, and as he pulled away, turned the elbow over. Jake Ellenberg, Bruce Buffer was announcing the winner, and Ellenberger was still on the canvas. Stunning display by Mike Perry. You gotta love his fighting style. But unfortunately, as we said last week, he's just a bit of a dick.
He's just a bit of a dick.
But embrace the dick.
Yeah. Yes. Somebody edit that into a small little file and post up. That was an amazing finish. Definitely a knockout of the year contender. Early knockout of the year contender.
So, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That technique was just beautiful. It was a nice left hook, as you said, that started it. He kind of jumped into it. Yeah. It was a kind of Chuck Liddell-ish, kind of jumping, leaping, or Rampage Jackson, more like leaping left hook. And he was finding it difficult to close the range. I thought Jake Ellenberger looked probably the best he's looked.
Yeah, Jake Ellenberger was looking great.
I think he looked even better than against Matt Brown, because that Matt Brown fight, he was kind of an early-ish finish. Like, he hurt him kind of pretty early. But this fight, I thought he looked really good. The way he was managing his distance, as you said, was very good. And Mike Perry couldn't get anything going. One thing I was impressed with Mike Perry was his ability to get back to his feet was really, really good. And then obviously he just has like killer instinct. That man's just a fighter. He has complete killer instinct.
You could see it as well when the blood was in the water. Like, he went.
You could see his face.
You could just see him go for it.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
And like, it's something we said, we questioned Jake Ellenberger's chin. I don't give I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter who that shot was getting landed on. They were going night.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was beautiful by Mike Perry. But yeah, it was a great card. Went there well. I was that tired. This is a true story. I was that tired because I got home from announcing that night, and I had to stand up and watch the Alaquinta Diego Sanchez.
So you wouldn't
fight.
fall asleep?
So I was starting to dip. I was
You're
starting to do the head dip.
You're like a baby.
So I stood up. No, I only stood up for the fight, like.
Yeah.
But I was grand then.
That woke you right up.
Yeah.
A few, just quick before we move on to the Reddit thread of the week.
Notables.
A few notables. I thought the Sam Alvey Talis latest fight was not very good. It was fairly poor. Talis latest won that fight. Brandon Moreno beating Dustin Ortiz. That guy is a serious talent. He's definitely someone that I'm going to be looking closely at, because Dustin Ortiz, I rate him very highly, has some really good wins, great scrambler, and Brandon Moreno just completely improves his game every single time he goes out. The worst fight on the card, and I can't even find it now.
Worst fight on the card.
Yeah, I can't even find it now, but it was a terrible fight. Yeah, there was some decent fights on the card. The Schnell fight against Sandoval, that was a good finish. There, Alexis Davis, yeah. Cindy Dandua.
Yeah.
Did you watch that fight?
No, I didn't see the prelims. I only got home just in time for
and there's bad striking, and holy moly. Like Cindy Dandua, she's a very good grappler. Good judo, but very bad. Very, very bad. Not even close to UFC level bad. It was very poor. Wow. And it was a really bad. I think it was even worse because Jessica Penney looked terrible as well. It was just a very, very bad performance, and that's nothing to take away from the fighters who got in there and, better than me for getting in the cage and fighting, but it was a very bad performance by both, and she showed zero striking. It was, yeah.
That was a good card. Check it out. It's on Fight Pass, or just download it off Kick-Ass Turns. Let's move it on to your MMA Reddit thread of the week. So this week, as we said, we're going to talk about the UFC landscape after Swanson and Lobov. So basically, it's a look at the divisions and where do you think it's at now, what's coming up, and just looking at
you have the thread up.
Yeah, the top threads here.
What's the guy's name? Because it was good. I like the thread.
By Earl Hawani Fan 21.
Very nice.
There you go. So for a not stacked light heavyweight division, I really like the matchups made there. That's weird. Middleweight is looking pretty disappointing to me right now. Maybe it's because a lot of the middleweight guys are established and the division is stalled, while a lot of the light heavyweight guys are trying to break into the top and exciting prospects. I disagree with the middleweight one. Just like that was from I can't even say that name. Fatness Everly, something like that. But Concuta Team Gunny said, I think it's just because the middleweight division doesn't have any fights booked. Any fight between Bisping, GSP, Romero, Rockhold, Whitaker, Musashi, Weidman, Jacare, Silva would interest me a lot more than equivalent ranked opponents in light heavyweight, except for DC versus John Bones Jones. I agree with that.
Yeah,
listen to them fight. I would love. There's a fight actually. If Bisping doesn't happen, Whitaker, Gegard, Musashi.
Yeah, that's probably the fight to make if it's not gonna. Yeah. If Romero's gonna be getting the next shot. If GSP doesn't get it, or if that fight happens and he waits out, definitely that's the fight to make. But Call Out he put out all the fights or all the upcoming fights in the year. Put out a couple of fights there that you are quite interested in seeing.
What, make believe fights or what's happening? No. Well, although Holloway, that's a absolutely stunning fight.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that coming up.
Yeah, 100%. That's probably one of the best fights I think coming up. Aside from McGregor fighting Holloway back down there, and even I'm interested in Aldo McGregor again because I'd like to see how that goes again. But I think that's probably the best featherweight fight you can make at the moment. So that's a fight I'm definitely interested in.
Another big one is Garbrandt and TJ. Talking a little bit, obviously we'll maybe discuss a little bit. We don't have it on the show with the Ultimate Fighter. You can already see that's going to be built up beautifully with the Ultimate Fighter already bashing at Unner and whatever. That's a great fight.
Yeah, and that is a good fight. So looking at the ones that the guy posted, Ariel Hawani Fan 21. At the heavyweight division, the best fight I can see there, or the two best fights that I'm definitely looking forward to, is the Stipe Miocic Junior Dos Santos fight, which happens on May 13. Good fight. Derek Lewis versus Mark Hunt.
That's a good fight.
That's an excellent fight. Did you see the poster?
Yeah. Is that a fan poster? Or
No, that's the real one.
UFC?
Yeah, they actually put some creativity into it.
The Stipe Junior fight, I think, is great because I thought Stipe won the first fight.
Yeah, it was quite close.
Like,
I'd have to go
Junior
back and
rocked
rewatch
him.
it.
I can't remember what round it was, but Junior landed a lovely left. I think it was a left hook, and it put Stipe on his arse for a second. And I think that's almost swung the fight for Junior. But I thought Stipe won that fight. I thought it was very esque of maybe it's just because Junior bloodies up a lot, but I thought it was very Cain Velasquez like, where he absolutely mauled him.
Yeah.
But that is a good fight. And Lewis and Mark Hunt, that's just going to be just like stick the matchsticks in and get ready for something crazy. That watch it will be an absolute snooze.
Yeah, probably. He has down the welterweight division, just looking down there. A good fight here, I think, 100%. It was supposed to happen before. I know you're going to love it. Robbie Lawler versus Donald Cerrone. UFC 213, July 8th.
I don't, until the door is closed, I almost don't want to get excited about this one. Like, I posted the famous, I don't even watch South Park, but the da where he's like all over the place saying MMA fans right now when that fight got announced. Yeah, it's a great fight. I would have loved it if it was for the title.
Yeah.
But look, I don't care.
Can't have nice things.
Titles are only shiny things now,
exactly,
really.
yeah, unfortunately.
Great fight.
Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez at lightweight, May 13th.
Yeah, that's another great fight. Poirier and Alvarez, that's sort of under the radar a little bit. Poirier looks great at 55. Alvarez is obviously coming back after getting spanked by Conor.
That's the next card, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's insane, UFC 211. Also on that card, featherweights, Frankie Edgar versus Yair Rodriguez.
That's a great fight.
Yeah.
I know you like Yair in that, don't you?
I kind of like Yair in it, but I need to look at some more tape. I need to rewatch because I do underestimate Frankie Edgar still, which is stupid of me.
It's weird,
because,
isn't it?
Because he's shown he's... Yeah. I underestimated him in the second fight against Gray Maynard. I underestimated him against Aldo, which he did lose, but he looked fairly decent. I underestimated him against a lot of guys, especially at lightweight. But yeah, that's a good fight.
Yeah, Joanna Jędrzejczyk obviously is fighting as well.
Man, that's a really interesting fight because I think Andrade has a very interesting, different style that Joanna hasn't seen yet. And of course, Joanna has a completely different style than Andrade would have seen yet. So, it goes both ways. But I am very, very interested in that one.
Well, it's the whole thing, isn't it? Is Joanna is that good that it's almost like no matter what name they try, they won't get near Joanna.
Yeah,
and it's only when something gets exploited.
Yeah. Sure, Claudia nearly beat her.
Yeah, well, Claudia just ran out of gas
Yeah.
in the fight as well.
Yeah.
But what other fights have anyone mentioned here? Any big fights?
Yeah, any other good fights on the card? Holly Holm versus Betch Correa. It's okay. It's not great, to be fair. I like... it's not a huge fight, but I do like the matchup. Henry Cejudo against Sergio Pettis. That's interesting. That's going to see exactly where Sergio Pettis is. Yeah? That is 211, yeah. Like, it's going to see exactly... Yeah, that's, holy fuck, that's stacked. We almost picked the whole 211 card, but we're going to break down
that's, I suppose,
in a couple of weeks.
How many fights down the line are announced? Do you know what I mean?
True, that's
Who would you like to see?
Well, Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. 213.
Yeah. What do you think? It's a bit weird going off the Reddit thing, but what's next for Jacare?
Who knows, man? Middleweight. Do you do the Luke Rockhold rematch?
Yeah. Well, two of them are, I think that could be the fight.
Yeah, it could be the fight. I
started baiting you into that angle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rockhold hasn't fought since losing, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, two of them are on a loss. So, it's the perfect...
They fought before as well. In Strikeforce, I thought it was a competitive enough fight. I did score to Luke Rockhold. I thought he won it. But I thought it was competitive enough. He didn't blow Jacare out of the water. And it's a very interesting stylistic fight as well because Rockhold is very underrated on the ground. But on the feet, you'd probably expect Rockhold to look a little bit better. But then Jacare coming off that loss, he just signed a big contract as well. So I'm sure he wants to, push on from that loss. He wants to get his win back there. So yeah, that's a good fight that he could make. But who knows? That middleweight division is interesting because we don't even know if the title fight's going to even happen with GSP. So
yeah, and the lightweight division as well. Obviously, like with Conor. What's going to happen? Where's the next big fight coming? The Alvarez Poirier, is that next in line, or who was next in line? Tony Ferguson, obviously Khabib. We're going to wait and see what happens there. Of course, Edson Barboza was calling out Ferguson's. That's a fight I'd like. I know they fought before, but I'd like to see that fight.
I'd like to see that fight again.
I don't know if that's in the Treader. In the Treader.
No, these are only fights that are actually announced. So,
but yeah, look, check it out. And that's I was like, you only put me on the Reddit there not too long ago, and I like it for the little bits, on it, little conversation pieces like that. And you'll always get mad trolls who say great funny
stuff.
shit. So it's fun. Check it out. So what we're going to do is now we're going to hit up the man himself, the myth, the legend, the man that is Johnny Jitsu. Just getting on with Johnny Jitsu. Who's the fuck?
Johnny Jitsu here. Just getting on for obviously Fight Talk. All right, lads.
What's crack, Johnny?
What's up? Great day.
All good, lads.
Come here, Johnny. I'm sure you watched the fights the weekend.
Yep.
But one big talking point was Alaquinte. He wasn't a happy bunny after a stunning knockout with Diego Sanchez.
No, not a happy bunny at all. I think he's looking for the big paycheck now. I think he's getting frustrated. I think he claimed he gets 23 to win, 23 to show and 23 to win, and he says it's just not enough. He's selling real estate at the moment, and he's happy with doing that. Yeah, he's in the lightweight division there. Who's the big earner there? Conor. They're all looking at that. He's unhappy. I think even in the last fight when he came out there and all, he was putting on a bit of this raging bull character and going bleeding nuts and all, But this time we see a different type of character, a character who's just speaking the truth and saying he wants the money he deserves,
Well, that's even in his post-fight interview with Brian Stan. Brian Stan reined him in straight away and just sort of said to him, "You're on Fox now, so keep it PG." Is it understandable when you think about it? Like we're watching it in Ireland. People are watching from around the world. He just knocked out an absolute legend of the sport. Should he? And his big gripe, he hadn't fought in the UFC for 2 years because of sponsorship, and there was a little whatever it was with the UFC.
It's not just the pay; it's the lack of sponsors. It's everything. It's all that.
So do you you as the fighter, Johnny?
Yeah, I think he actually turned around there, lads, and said he actually has no sponsors in the UFC.
Yeah.
So
he just gets the Reebok thing, which I think is
gets the Reebok thing, and he probably gets
a couple of grand, I think.
$1,000.
Yeah.
It ain't good.
At that level, and then
at that level, man, you know.
And then he took to Twitter, Johnny. I don't know if you've seen his Twitter, but after the fight, he tweeted, "Hey UFC, go fuck yourself." Then he tweeted, "This place is getting wrecked."
Yeah. Well, that kind of just says it all there, doesn't it?
I think it was more in relation to he then tweeted after that again. It showed the bonuses of the night went to Swanson and Lobov, and then Perry and Monero got bonuses as well. And his tweet to that as well, he wasn't a happy bunny either. He just said, "Fuck you." So do you think we spoke about this earlier, Johnny, do you think his victory warranted a bonus?
Well, I think knocking out Diego Sanchez, who's never been knocked out, you'd have to tend to agree with Alaquinte there. It did deserve a bonus, didn't it? No one ever finishes Diego, so that was a first. You know what I mean? No one ever knocks him out,
What do you think, Johnny? A couple of years ago, I'd say probably 3, even 2 years ago, the idea of being a UFC fighter, fighting in the UFC rather than somewhere else, was the thing that really sold a lot of fighters and going to the UFC. It wasn't the money, but do you think that has changed since the last maybe year or so?
100% that's changed. I mean, look at Bellator now are in now. Guys have options now. Even guys have options to go to Asia now and fight for ONE FC and fight for different shows that. It's not like the UFC have the total monopoly of every fighter in the world now, and that's where you have to go. And I think that's good for fighters. If it was just UFC, there would be no choices and people wouldn't be able to speak their mind like that. But, Alaquinte's probably looking at lads going to Bellator and looking at the money they're getting now, and he's saying, well, come on, UFC, you're going to have to start fucking paying me now or I'm on my bike. It's simple as that. I
want to get your thoughts as well, Johnny. A teammate of yours, Magic Mile Price, has been announced taking on Philip Mulpeter. What do you think of that fight, and how's Miles feeling leading up to it?
That's what I seen when that fight got announced. That is a super fight. For Irish MMA, just them two guys are around a long time. They're main stables here in the fight game in Ireland, and just that's a dream match up here. Like, that's going to be a super fight.
And
really
two big names for both of them, really. Like, when you look at your man Rude Boy getting the shot against Tim Barnell, I thought that was quite weird considering Miles made light work of Rude Boy.
Yeah, I thought that was. I definitely think Miles warranted that shot there, that next shot. But you know, again, there's people above who decide otherwise, and that's just the way it is. So, you know, I think the winner now are Miles and the Honey Badger. That's just a definite next contender now.
Do you think though, for Dublin and for Ireland, that's a bigger fight, Mulpeter versus Miles, rather than the title fight? It's probably even a bigger fight for the locals.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, for the Irish MMA fans, like even yourself, everyone know we are around the game a long time. Like, we've seen the Honey Badger go to war, we've seen Miles' fights. You know, it's a super fight. That the two of them guys really match up great. You know.
And as well, sticking to the Bama team there while we have you as well, just interested to get your thoughts as well. What do you think of Geordie Shaw getting the Bama contract? What's his name? Aaron Chalmers?
Aaron Chalmers, yeah. But listen, you know, it's like this. Everybody has a chance to show their shit. You know what I mean? He's after getting signed now, so let's see what he's got.
Let's see his shit.
Yeah, let's see his shit. Let's see his shit. Let's see. Does he have the skills like to back up this fucking, you know, Geordie Shaw fucking circus he's had to come from? You know what I mean? So,
you had a couple of lads in action as well, and a lot of teammates from Team Rhino as well up in Akuma over the weekend. How'd you fare, Johnny?
I did well. All the Team Rhino lads, they all got the wins the weekend. James Sheehan won the title. I think he won on decision. I think even James claimed he was having a bad day at the office. He couldn't gain his range down and still came out with the decision. So my own lads from my own gym, actually we were meant to have Paddy Wilkinson as well, but there was a problem with his opponent's medical, so that fight was pulled. So we just had Mark Hasley on making his debut at light heavy. An absolute war he had with a guy from Peter Lavery's gym. It was a super fight, super respect shown from both guys. Mark ended up getting caught in the guillotine, but really showed some nice stuff. And now we were very proud of him. It was a super debut for him, you know, and he'll only grow from this. It was a great fight. The two lads, there was nothing but respect there. It was a great showing, you know.
And then I say it to you every week, the fights have started to announce. Your name being have you been getting offered any fights, even if there's no news? Have you been offered?
I haven't heard my name being offered yet, so I haven't heard my opponent being mentioned yet, so. But we shall hear very soon, lads.
Well, it's no Dublin show without jiu-jitsu on it.
It's no Dublin show without Johnny fucking jiu-jitsu. You're dead right. You know, and I'm coming to run amok here in this cage and get the eyes on me. So that's it.
Well, Johnny, listen, it's a pleasure as always talking to you. Look forward to chatting to you next week, and we're going to get you as well to do a little, if you will, a little bit of stuff in the gym as well, just to show us the lab preparing, just getting on videos that we can drop of you doing a little bit of training.
No problem. I'll do a few little training videos on the lead up. There's no problem at all, lads.
But man, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. Enjoy the rest of your evening now. You've put the shopping away.
Who's the fuck?
Nice, Johnny. There we are, Johnny Jitsu, the man, the myth, the legend. So let's see the colour of Aaron Cameron's shit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, cracker. So now we are breaking and we're going to be joined. We're breaking. Going to your ads. Easy singles. Put them on your crackers. They're only bleeding massive. We're breaking. We're not breaking. We're going to Linton Vassell.
Making a ball to this, man. Making a ball to this.
Linton Vassell obviously fight in Bellator London, which is 179.
Go with that.
The 19th of May. I can remember the date.
I'll dub you if it's wrong.
big card. Big fights. Big night for British UK MMA. And also we've King Cowley, an Irish representative on the card as well. But Linton taking on the former light heavyweight champion. So a great fight for him, taking on Liam McGeary. So we will now be joined by Linton Vassell. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and we are now joined by Linton Vassell, who takes on Liam McGeary at Bellator London. So Linton, welcome along to obviously Fight Talk, and thank you very much for taking the time out and training to come on.
No worries, that's fine, man.
The first thing that people will notice when they're watching here is look at that weather.
Yeah, is that South Florida weather?
Oh God.
Yeah.
And it's been raining though, to be honest. You caught me on a good day. Yesterday it was torrential rain, and Saturday it was a bit windy. But today the sun's come out, so I thought I'd come outside and
show off.
Yeah. We'd love to be able to say.
Show off, yeah, show people like, you know, what's up.
So Linton, you're leading into a fight with Liam McGeary. Now Liam fought in Bellator Belfast as well. He was originally scheduled to fight Chris Fields. That fell through. He was then getting Vladimir.
Lost it.
Yeah, lost it. And then he got Brett McDermott. Did you watch the fight, and what did you think of his performance with a short notice replacement?
I thought he struggled, you know, but you know, I forgot the guy's name. That's my bad.
Brett McDermott.
Sorry, that's it. Yeah, he's a strong guy though. So I think he surprised Liam. But I pretty much had that first round as a draw. They both dropped each other, and then he ended up actually on top of Liam. So yeah, I had it pretty much, you know, a very close round. But Liam caused more damage in the fact that he cut his eye open. So, you know, Liam solved the problem.
In that as well, in that fight, as obviously with Liam will tower over a lot of his opponents as well. But you could see that McDermott was getting in close in range. Did that give you like a little bit inkling as well? Because obviously he's going to be the bigger, as you're certainly no small man, but McGeary he'd make most people look small as well. So did you see something in that fight that you could exploit?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've been working like some real good positions, getting in close, and obviously for the takedown and stuff. But also, me and Brett are totally different fighters. Yeah. I don't fight the way Brett does. Brett's like, I'd say a lot more stockier, and he has to get in. Where I'm just as long as Liam, if not my reach is actually longer than his. Pardon me. But he's taller. But I will be the smaller man in this fight. But yeah, I see some holes where I can obviously exploit and get in there and work my game.
And what's the training setup like? Because it was obviously the big kind of public split of the Blackzillians. How's your training going? What's the training setup like now? For me, it hasn't really changed. The team did split, but there's 2 gyms where I train at. So I'm getting my groundwork with Neil Melenson still, and my wrestling groundwork also at combat with Greg Jones, and then my striking with Henry Hooft. And there's a lot of the team go to both gyms. Yeah. So for me, that's what I do, and I'm getting my training in at both gyms. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be at Henry's doing the MMA sparring with some big guys out there, and then back at CS to do some groundwork again with Neil. So I had a real good session with him today. So you know, just keep working, keep drilling, and then I head back to England on maybe the 5th of May, and then yeah, just start getting ready again.
And looking ahead to that card as well now, and it seems to be Bellator, they really seem to be investing heavy in British and UK fighters. And when this card was released, along with obviously Bellator will always be compared and put alongside the UFC. And when the UFC's most recent visit to London was announced, a lot of people were saying, wow, Bellator are firing the bigger guns here. And a lot more people are excited for this card. So what do you think with the investment in a way that Bellator are putting to UK, and in general, the stars of the UK now, you can see it just seems to be on the bigger stage now. There's more British and UK fighters on the bigger shows.
Yeah, I definitely think Bellator have done such a good job with marketing UK fighters. With the British Invasion card, I think that really boosted all of us up, because we fought America and we won. You know, so that was a good platform for us. And then they came to London in July last year, and now I think this is probably the biggest card they've actually got. You know, now it's actually time for, instead of doing obviously, you know, UK versus everyone else, now it's 2 of the top light heavyweights, me and Liam now actually fighting each other. We knew at some point that would happen, but yeah, Bellator doing such great things, and I only see it going forward with them signing other top light heavyweights also, and other top talent throughout the weight classes.
Would you think it'd be fair to say that UK MMA is probably at its strongest right now, with Michael Biz being the middleweight champion in the UFC, yourself and Liam, and this big spot on this card? Obviously, Paul Daley headlining the card. Would you say it's probably the best spot it's been in quite a few years at least?
Oh, seriously, yeah. Like this card is stacked, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Paul Daley versus MacDonald. That's a great main event.
Yeah. As well, like you can see the UFC are announcing they're coming back to Scotland as well. So it is, you can sort of see the turn is coming. That old thought of a European fighter, take him down, beat him up, that's gone now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. You know, the UK are showing the Americans and the world, you know, we're no joke. As I say, Biz being the world champion, I don't think anyone really expected that. And now, he's, you know, taking care of a lot of people. And I think with this, obviously, the drug ban, a lot of people were getting caught. Yeah. It just shows how many people was on it, and now they're just slowly going down, you know. So it definitely shows a lot of people was on it, and now the true talent is actually showing.
Is that something as well, just while you're bringing it up, do you find do you have to, with Bellator, is it different with the ins and outs of, do you have to give where you are that they can come and give it you a test, or are you sent that you have to go on certain days for testing?
For us, they test us. I think it's usually the day before or the day. I can't really remember. It depends. It's usually, I think, the day of the fight. We do like a drug test before, and then we do a drug test like the day of the fight.
And as well with Bellator, there's been a lot of talk with a lot of big names going to Bellator now because of the UFC's like sponsorship deals. Aloy Quinta just had a fight there and he's been complaining. Do you think that gives Bellator a huge kind of, you know, for fighters to look at, oh, I'm going to be able to have my own sponsors on the Bellator show, so maybe even the bigger names will come over?
There's so many people that are unhappy with this stupid, you know, sponsorship where you get a set amount of wage for your fight. So a lot of people are actually losing money. Yeah. So as soon as their contract's up, it's a lot of people are either coming to Bellator or elsewhere. And I think for Bellator, that's a real good, you know, marketing thing for them then. So obviously they're willing to pay the fighters the money and get the sponsorship. So it's a win-win for Bellator.
It's a silly question because you're a Bellator fighter, but it was always perceived that if you were the UFC champion, you were the #1 guy. Is that gap closing now? Is it no longer thought of that way, or do titles mean that much to fighters, or is it you just want to beat the best guys?
For me, I just want to beat the best. Like when I was younger, it was always I want to get to UFC, I want to get to UFC, but so much things is happening, and it's not all about UFC. As I say, like there's other promotions. UFC is probably it definitely is the world known. Everyone knows of the UFC, but as I say, people are leaving because they're not happy and they're going elsewhere. So for me, I'm happy at Bellator. They're paying me right. I feel like they're treating me good. I've already had a world title fight, you know. So now I feel like I've gone back on that path again, and I'm only one fight away from another world title fight.
The one thing I'd only criticise Bellator for, because I do think they're doing amazing work and promoting the fights brilliantly, is the television deal over this side of the world. Unfortunately, to watch it over here, you have to be either watching an illegal stream or have yourself a dodgy box. So that's one thing that they really need to resolve, so we can get to watch you guys fight on the regular.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think that's one bad thing that they're doing really wrong, and they're losing out on a lot of TV viewers there, because you don't want to see you know, oh, here's the results on Twitter or Facebook or something. You want to see it live. Yeah. You know, and it's a bit annoying staying up till like 4 a.m. to watch someone where, you know, or actually finding out on social media and then seeing it the following week. Because I think that's what they've been doing, is showing it, you know, the following Saturday on TV.
We spoke to Liam after his last victory in Belfast. We were up in Belfast covering the show. Yeah. He seemed like, as we were talking to him, he seemed like a real cool, laid-back guy. And when he was speaking about you, he said, you know, I'm not going to talk shit about Linton unless he fucking talks shit about me, and then I'll talk shit about him, and then we get the fight.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And do you think that this is something that it's come new into MMA that some guys feel they have to bite at the other guy. Or are you happy enough just to go in, show respect to one another, sell the fight in a good hype, and then just get it done in the cage?
Yeah, like people that know me and have been following me for the last 10 years, I'm the same. I'm not like a chat shit talker. But if you ask me a question, so who's going to win? Obviously, I'm going to say myself. I've got no bad words to say about Liam. He's a good guy. We actually, we're our friends. That's the thing. But it's business, and I've got to go in there and beat him up. And he'll say the same thing. He's got to get in there and beat me up because he wants the same thing as I want, a world title. So I'm not into chatting shit. Vice versa. If he chats shit about me, then it's only fair for me to chat shit about him. But we're both going to get in there and we're both going to punch each other in the face. We're both going to try and break each other's bones and stuff. So, we can buy each other a drink or some cheesecake or whatever and, talk about the fight after.
Everything goes according to plan. You get the victory. How soon again are you looking to stay active? Because I know with the cut you were originally meant to fight Francis Carmon, you got the bad cut. You were that sort of sidelined you for a while. So are you looking to have an active remainder of 2017?
Oh, of course, yeah. I actually got cut in July last year, and then I actually fought Francis in November. And seriously, the cut is fine. I've been sparring. I actually had a fight. The cut's fine. Yeah. So obviously, if I don't get an injury in this next fight, then I'll be looking probably to fight within August, September, maybe. As I say, it all depends what they've got next for me. I'll be looking to fight for the world title after this fight.
Just to bring it back a little bit back to the training side of it as well, do you feel the move to the States as well and training as when it was Blackzillians with the likes of Rashad Evans, Tyrone Spong, Anthony Rumble Johnson, these guys, do you feel that has elevated your game as well and brought you further along?
100%, without a doubt. I'm sweating here. The main reason I actually moved here was for them.
Yeah. And
there's so many other guys here as well that are top talent, and I'm getting that working. Volkan's just signed to UFC. I don't know if you see his fight.
Yeah,
he's one of my good friends and training partners. We both actually moved here pretty much the same time, for the same dream. I'm getting a lot of good training in. So I can't moan. And there's a lot of guys that are coming up as well. In the pro rankings that are giving me trouble, so I'm more than happy.
I have to ask you as well, just as it was a shock to us when it happened as well. But Anthony Rumble Johnson, was that known leading up to that Anthony was going to step away, or did that take you guys by surprise?
1 second. I'm going to go in the shade quick.
Yeah, no problem. We don't have that problem here to go into the shade.
Hello.
Yeah,
with Rumble. Hello, sorry.
Yeah.
With Rumble, I had no idea.
No idea.
No, I had no idea that he was going to retire. So for me, that was a big shock.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sort of stuck everyone, and I know Henry Hoof got a bit of slating from that. People were giving out saying that he didn't come into the ring or to the cage, but Henry had said he had left and he couldn't get back in time. So I think that was just confusion because they seem to be pretty tight, the two guys.
There's no drama between them at all, but people like or social media, someone puts something and it just blows up.
Yeah.
But yeah, them two are real close. They've been through a lot together. So Henry wouldn't have been like, you lost, see ya, and then forget all about him. Obviously, he went out the ring, didn't get back in time. It's a little mix up. But yeah, I didn't know he was going to retire. And Henry and AJ are just as close friends as they was before the fight. So.
And what's your opinion on that? Do you think that he should have stuck around, or do you think a fighter, once they say they want to retire, they should probably just go with it?
Seriously, there's plenty of times where I've been like, do I want to do this? But I actually do. I think it's just like everyone, and he's been around. He's fought the best. He's just had enough. Yeah, it will happen, and I think one day when it happens to me, where I actually do think this is it, then yeah, I think I will retire. But right now, you know, I'm good, and I feel like I've still got a good 5 years in me before I retire.
If you could fight, I'd obviously, you know, we're talking dream fights here as well. Obviously, you have a big, your hands full here with Liam McGeary as well. But if you could fight anyone in your weight class, who's the guy you call? Who is the fight that Linton Vassell would love?
I'd love to fight Fedor.
Oof.
Like Fedor is like, you know, class is one of the best, and I've mentioned to Bellator plenty of times I'd love to go to heavyweight. So, you know, once him and Matt Mitrione get their fight on, that could be a fight that down the line, you know. Yeah, Fedor would be a great fight for me. You know?
What do you walk around that, Linton? Because I know Fedor is, a lot of people say like he's sort of a chubby light heavyweight, if you like. So he could really make light heavyweight if he tried. But what do you walk around that? Would there be a big difference between you and Fedor if you weren't cutting?
If I walk around normally 230, 235. So what's that? 108 kilos, is it?
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, round about that. Yeah, so you know, if need be, I could put back 240 and still be in shape.
Yeah. Talking about Fedor and Mitrione, who's your pick on that one?
I'll go for my teammate Mitrione. You know, and I do think Mitrione definitely has all the tools, you know, to beat him. Probably first round as well. He's a big, strong, explosive guy. Like I've been with him a few times, and it's crazy how he just explodes. That's
one thing we always talk about is his athleticism and the speed that he covers. For such a big guy, he's so quick.
Yeah, you don't expect it. Like, wow, okay, he just moved from there to there, and that's all them years of him playing professional football.
Yeah.
American football. So yeah, my pick is definitely Mitrione. So
unfortunately, I'm not good.
You know, and I'll be there as well, watching live.
Nice,
excellent.
So to make us a little bit more jealous, how is the living over there? As we can see, you're sweating just sitting down.
Yeah, seriously, just chatting. This is my car here.
Very nice.
This is my sponsored whip.
Nice.
But other than that, the weather's good. I'm happy. You know, I've got a girlfriend out here that I've been with for the last 10 months. I can't complain, you know. I feel real good. My training's going well, so life's perfect right now. All I need is a world title to make me that little bit more happier.
Well, I tell you, we wish you the best of luck. Looking forward to the fight as well. Thanks a million for taking the time to come on and chat to us. We'll definitely chat again. Get you on again to come on when you're going for that world title.
Yeah, I'll come back on again.
Excellent,
absolute gent. Best of luck and enjoy the good weather.
Take care, boys.
Cheers, man. Take care. They are Linton Vassell. He's gone for world titles and he wants to fight Fedor Emelianenko.
World titles, girlfriends, cars, and weather.
Yeah. What a life.
That's all you need.
Beautiful. It's great talking to guys when they're leading into that. And again, he's in such a big camp. You hear the guys he's training with, and iron sharpens iron, all that type of talk.
Yeah.
Seems like a cool, chill guy too.
Yeah. Seems like a really nice guy, and it's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. It's not often that you get in a big promotion two British guys fighting on a big stage, top of a card. Obviously not the main event, but top of a card.
Yeah.
And it's one of the more intriguing fights on that card. And the whole card, as you said, it's a really, really good card. Bellator are really coming out with it. And then a couple of weeks later, it's Bellator New York. So, you know,
no, Bellator,
look out.
Bellator to do with John Anik are hitting home runs here at the moment. Like, that's a great fight. We like we said, I think we said at the start of the show, we were meant to have Linton on a good few times.
Yeah.
But we sort of got him at the right time here, you know what I mean? Leading into a fight that 100% he's one fight away from a shot at the light heavyweight gold in Bellator. So yeah, like it's great to see him call out Fedor as well. Like, in my head when I was asking the question, I was saying he's got to say John Jones.
Yeah, no, like Jones. I was kind of surprised by that one. I'm not sure if he said it before. I haven't seen him talking about it, but I was a little bit surprised about that. I thought he was going to say, I don't know who was talking, maybe Chael Sonnen or something, you know, someone in the vein of that. But
no, cool. We're going to hit up Daniel Movahedi here as well real quick. So
quick referee's corner.
Dan better not be slow on the mic. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk. We're now joined by Dan Movahedi, and we are now watching Fight Night Global 63. So thank you for the video. It's up on YouTube. This is between Vladimir Mineev and Maiquel Falcão. So Dan, this was crazy. As we're watching it here, some big shots landed here by Mineev, and here we go.
Yeah.
The referee, just for people listening, they're up against the cage. Mineev is landing at least 25 to 30 unanswered shots to the side of the head here, and the referee is virtually like touching
on
them.
top of the action.
Yeah. And
Falcao gets back up and dropped by a knee. Still, at least we're in the 50 region of unanswered shots. Now he's still trying to defend himself. A big overhand landed there with Mineev.
Isn't that the usual thing you'd look at, Dan? Though he just gave up his back. He's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, and just you know, again, just because he's moving, he's just acting on instincts.
Yeah.
You know, just his training now, just he's coming in. He's a veteran fighter, but yeah, I mean, for me, this was very uncomfortable to watch. You know, and even now that we're watching, I know some of the listeners can't obviously see this, but if you're watching it, you know, he's on queer street right now. You know, he's just getting ragdolled, and the referee had ample opportunity to step in. And what's, you know, no one likes to dig the referee out, but no one also doesn't like to see a fighter to get, you know, especially when we put their safety.
We're in neon belly here, and he's rolled onto a single here, but it's easily at this stage we're easily up at about 60, probably 80 unanswered shots here. And you can see Vladimir Mineev here. I hope I'm saying it right. He has the position here again. He sort of, Falcao is trying to get up, but his body is just failing him. He's on autopilot here.
Yeah,
and
look at him.
Look at these shots raining down. Like, it's on YouTube. If you just Google it and type in Fight Nights Global 63. Again, these shots, and the referee finally steps in. I'd say if you put a counter, you're looking at between 90 to 100 shots there. Now, Dan, this came about because Big John McCarthy, I believe, was the first to share this, was he?
He shared someone else's post. I can't remember the guy who actually shared it, so I can't credit him. But yeah, I mean, Big John shared it, then I shared it, then Goddard shared it, and you know what? In the MMA community, that was very uncomfortable to watch. And I believe it was a rematch. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
You know, and you know, like as you saw in the footage, you know, that definitely could have been stopped a hell of a lot earlier. You know, our job is to keep you guys, you know, sorry, I say you guys, keep the fighters safe and sound. And, you know, we don't wait till they get knocked out, you know, and that's some of the assumptions fans get wrong, you know. Oh, he wasn't knocked out. You know, that at the end of the day, that guy's a trained veteran. He's just acting on instincts, you know. He's just acting on his training, you know, but doesn't, you know, so many headshots and the damage. It's really uncomfortable to watch, and it kind of, if I'm honest, really pissed me off.
Yeah. Dan, do you think there's something different? Because we obviously speak to you like every show, and we talk about when referees make mistakes or something else should have happened, or there was a mistake in a fight. Do you think there's a difference between a mistake where you're criticising the referee and, you know, it wasn't incompetence, it was just maybe he missed something, versus something like this where it's a clear, you know, you're watching a guy take a beat down and you're not doing anything? There's a difference.
Yeah, here's the difference, right? I mean, if you remember the Chick Congo and Pat Berry fight, right? When Chick Congo and Pat Berry were, you know, slugging leather, and it looked like the fight was over, and next thing you know, Chick Congo gets up and Pat Berry's running to him, and Chick Congo lands a shot on Pat Berry. Insane, right? At least he was fighting back. Yeah. This whole time, this fight, the fighter on the bottom, he was just defending. Not even, I don't know what you use the word defending. No. He was just, I don't know what he was doing. You know, he was trying his best to defend and acting on instincts. And to your question, Rob, you know, that it wasn't. It's not a mistake that the referee's made. The referee, I don't know what he was thinking. I honestly don't know. And to a point, I think someone mentioned on some of the comments that I saw is, what were the cornermen doing? Why was there not a towel thrown in or something, you know, to indicate, look, their fight is done. And you know, I mean, I don't know how they play out in Russia or that event. And it is they're quite a big event because they're on UFC Fight Pass as well. And I believe it's the same event that Fedor fought on. So, you know, it's a hard one to watch, and it definitely comes down to I guess the referee didn't have the best interest of the fighter, man.
These guys weighed in at 196.4 pounds. Just to give clarification, the referee's name was Dennis Sivo-Playas. That's what I'm going with. But to me, this is something, and I can tell when this happened, like with Dan, anyone who listens to us, we obviously have like a group chat that we talk to one about shows and ideas of what we want to put in the shows.
Yes.
And you were insanely angry by this, by looking at it, I think it's fair to say. And almost because you're such a good referee, and Big John McCarthy is obviously such a good referee, and Mark Goddard is such a good referee, Mugliotta is such a good referee, that it must infuriate you guys seeing this guy on Fight Pass and on just national television, I'd imagine, in Russia as well, doing this. Like, this will make the sport look bad. It will make it, it's clearly unsafe, and this guy has no right to be in that cage.
So you imagine someone who's just turned on you to MMA, and I think the word that must would come to the head, and rightly so, after watching that, would be barbaric. You know, if I've seen in the living room watching it with my family and friends, or my kids, for example, they sometimes watch UFC or they watch Cage Warriors or BAMMA, you know, to see someone get a beating like that, and it was a beating. It was actually horrible. You know, thank fuck. You know, he was standing at the end of the fight. You know, he didn't have to be stretchered out the cage. But what did it take for that referee to stop that fight then? You know,
the thing about it is as well, Dan. Like, two things. Number one, if that was an MMA movie and you seen that, you'd say that's unrealistic. The fight wouldn't last that long. And
exactly.
Number two, if that this is real life. If anything happened to Falcao, how can that referee? Do you know what I mean? Like, as in,
but who's to say he still won't? You know, at the end of the day, in the sport that we love so much, we know the precautions of possible brain damage, etc. And that could be start of something. Who knows? 5 years down the line, the result of what happened, taking unanswered shots unnecessarily, could result into something else in a couple of years down the line.
Like, I have seen that. I've watched you firsthand in your fight. When you're giving your rules meeting and stuff, and you make it very personal when you're talking to the fighters. And I've sat in a lot of rule meetings with a lot of referees and a lot of guys, and I've seen a lot of fighters, both to yourself and other referees that I know, thank them for keeping them safe in the cage. And that's a big thing that you always say, and it's one thing that I hope listeners really, you know, because sometimes when you see a fight show like the UFC or BAMMA or Bellator, you just see the event and you don't see what's going on beforehand. Like, you guys are there hours before the event starts. You talk to the fighters as a group for the rules meeting, but then you go and you speak to the fighters individually, and you speak to them and you tell them the rules, what you want them to see, where you would say, if you're grounded and I say I want to see action, it's happening, and if not, I'm going to stop it. And I've witnessed that firsthand. So for me, who's not a referee, looking at that footage is infuriating, because I know the work that you and other referees do to keep the fighters safe, and the fighters are grateful of that. I can tell you one thing, Mr. Dennis Sivo-Playas will not be on Falcao's Christmas list for a card this year.
But on the flip side of it as well, who knows? I don't know. I've never come across the referee. I don't know what his experience is, but it could come down to that again. Experience. Maybe in his head as a ref, he's thinking, shit, if I stop it too early, the pressure of maybe someone's going to say, oh, ref, you stopped it too early, or the fighter's not going to be happy. At the end of the day, I've stopped fights for, you know, prime example was when Mario Said got knee to the chest. He dropped down, and the way he dropped down, I assessed it off of that look, the way he dropped down, he's in a lot of pain, and you know, my job is there to prevent you from any further damage. You know, and you know, not a lot of people like that stoppage, and a lot of people did. But that's something I deal with. And at the end of that, I know I've done the right decision. You're safe. You're ready to fight for another. You know what it is coming up from next BAMMA is fighting for the title. Exactly. You know, you're injury free, and you're there to fight another day. If I'd let that fight go on, and he did take a couple of unnecessary shots, and it turns out, hey, I've got a broken rib or whatever it may have been, you know, the blame still comes on me. But maybe that's the way this referee saw it. Maybe he's inexperienced enough to be, or not confident enough to step in there and go, look, fight's over, I've called out. And if Falcão got up and protested about it, I'm sure as hell no one would have disagreed with the referee if he had stopped it earlier than what he had done. You know?
It's a job. Do you know what it is? It's a thankless job. What you're saying, some people are saying yay and some people are saying no. It is a thankless job. It doesn't matter if you make the right decision or the wrong decision. You're going to get criticised either side.
100%.
So I don't envy you, but it's a job that you do well, and by seeing that,
it
has to be upsetting.
But I do think, with all due respect to that referee, that was a completely different story than your stoppage there. That was unnecessary damage that I'm not sure what the referee was looking for Falcao to do at all. I can't see it.
But it's and I'll give one more example and we'll finish, and only because you were there, Nob, was the Cage Warriors Dublin show. Yeah, Blaine O'Driscoll versus I can't remember his opponent's name.
Darren O'Gorman.
Straight after I got the doctor to check the cut on his eye, you know, and it was the whole lead up to that point. Anyway, you know, he'd been rocked, he'd been picked off a couple of times, and you know, when that shot landed and the way he landed on his back, I stepped in and stopped the fight, because as a ref, you got to look ahead as well sometimes, and not many people would agree with it, but you look ahead and you go, okay, well, this could have been the outcome, and maybe it couldn't have been, but you got to go with your gut feeling and keeping that fighter safe, and that's what you do, you know. So,
like I said,
fighter safety is paramount.
It's a job he wouldn't do, and Dennis needs to go and get himself some training to do it right, because, like I said, unfortunately, the thing about it is, you know, in a football match and you don't give an offside, you know what I mean, people aren't affected, you know, and you know, we've seen it here in Ireland, unfortunately, where things can go terrible. It's obviously happened in the UK at boxing shows as well, and you guys are there to make sure that doesn't happen too. So yeah, listen, Dan, great breakdown, and appreciate it. It's probably the rawest you've been with us, is that you can tell, and I think that's, you know, is testament to actually how you feel about it and how passionately you take your job as the third man in there. So credit to you. We're going to, again, it's a weird one that we're leaving you short, because you're only joining us for Referee's Corner. But that's been 64, so big shout out to Fight Store Ireland, your fighter's choice for everything you need under one roof. They're going to have some new Fight Store t-shirts coming out too, so we'll be all over that. Again, check out the Facebook post and share it for the hash oil. Get your Ganji on. MMAmix.com. They're obviously good.
So we've obviously fight talk.
This has been 64. He's been Daniel Movahedi. Say your good night, Stan.
Good night.
He's been beautifully, devilishly Robert Fallon.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
And I've been Noel O'Keefe. Peace. See you next week.